Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to solve inequalities using function machines. We've got 4 success criteria, and the first one is to solve equations. So to be able to solve inequalities, you need to be able to solve equations. So pause the video and have a go at the questions. When you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, and there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 1. So now we're going to move on to number 2, and this is to solve single inequalities. So whether we've got an equation or an inequality, the only difference is the sign. So in an equation we have an equal sign, and in an equality we have an inequality sign, which is either the greater than sign, the less than sign, the greater than or equal to, or the less than or equal to sign. So we can use the same method that we would use to solve an equation to solve an inequality. So here's an inequality for us to solve. So we set up a function machine and say what is being done to x. So we've got x, we're timesing it by 5, we're adding 3, and we get 7. So we need to work backwards doing the opposite. This is known as the inverse. So we start with 7. The opposite of adding 3 is taking away 3. And the opposite of timesing by 5 is dividing by 5. So we do 7, take away 3, which is 4, and then we do 4 divided by 5, which can be written as 4/5. So we simply use, instead of an equal sign, the sign that we're given in the original question, which was the greater than or equal to sign. So we can say x is greater than or equal to 4/5. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, we want to solve 4x minus 5 is less than 12. So we write out a function machine with what is being done to x. We're timesing it by 4, we take away 5, and we get 12. So we need to work backwards doing the opposite. So we start with 12, we add 5, and we divide by 4. 12 plus 5 is 17, and 17 divided by 4 can just be written as 17/4. Remember to use the same sign that you're given in the question. So in the question we're given the less than sign, so we need to say that x is less than 17/4. In this question, before I use a function machine, I need to get rid of either 5x or 8x. Now I always get rid of the smallest letter first. So 5x is smaller than 8x, so I get rid of 5x first. So I take 5x off both sides. That leaves me with minus 10 is less than 3x plus 6. So now I can write a function machine of what is being done to x. I'm timesing it by 3, I'm adding 6, and I get minus 10. So I work backwards doing the opposite. I start with minus 10, I take away 6, and then divide by 3. Now minus 10, take away 6, is going to be minus 16. And minus 16 divided by 3 can be written as minus 16 over 3. I remember to use the sign that I'm given in the question, and because 3x plus 6 was on the other side of the sign, that means x needs to be on the other side of the sign as well. So I need to write it as minus 16 over 3 is less than x. Now if I swap round x in the answer, I need to change the sign as well. So I can write this as x is greater than minus 16 over 3. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So this time I want to solve 5x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 3x plus 4. So I start by getting rid of the smallest letter, so 3x or 5x, or 3x is smaller than 5x, so I get rid of 3x from both sides. So that leaves me with 2x minus 5 plus 4. So I can write a function machine of what's being done to x. 2x means I'm timesing it by 2, and then I'm taking away 5, and I get 4. So I need to work backwards doing the opposite. Start with 4, I add 5, and then I divide by 2. So 4 plus 5 is 9, and 9 divided by 2 can be written as 9 over 2. So I use the sign that was given to me in the question, so I can say that x is greater than or equal to 9 over 2. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to do success criteria 3, which is to solve compound inequalities. So here I want to solve minus 5 is less than 3x plus 4, which is less than 19. So I can treat it as two separate inequalities and then join them back up at the end. So the first inequality would be minus 5 is less than 3x plus 4, and the second inequality would be 3x plus 4 is less than 19. So I start with the first inequality and I solve it using a function machine. So I work backwards doing the opposite. Minus 5 take away 4 is minus 9, and minus 9 divided by 3 will be minus 3. So I can say minus 3 is less than x. Then I can do my second inequality. Work backwards doing the opposite. 19 minus 4 is 15, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So here x is less than 5. I can now join them together. So I can say minus 3 is less than x, which is less than 5. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So this time I want to solve 1 is less than or equal to 6x plus 2, which is less than 3. So I break it down into 2 separate inequalities, and I can solve the first one. I work backwards, doing the opposite. So 1 take away 2 is minus 1, and minus 1 divided by 6 will be minus 1/6. So I can write my answer as minus 1/6 is less than or equal to x. Then I can solve my second inequality, work backwards doing the opposite. 3 take away 2 is 1, and 1 divided by 6 is 1/6. So x is less than 1/6. I can now join these two answers up. So minus 1/6 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 1/6. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers. There's your amber answers. And there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now we're going to move on to number 4, and this is to apply to problem solving questions. So in this question, we're told a is an integer, so that means it's a whole number. The perimeter of this rectangle is less than 30 centimeters, so we want to find the greatest possible value of a. So the perimeter is all the sides added together, so we can find an expression for the perimeter by adding 2a plus 5 plus 2a plus a plus 5. And we can say this is less than 30 because we're told the perimeter of this rectangle is less than 30 centimeters. We can simplify the expression for the perimeter, which is 6a plus 10, and we can say that this is less than 30. So now we've got an inequality that we can solve. So we write it as a function machine and work backwards doing the opposite. So 30 minus 10 is 20, and 20 divided by 6 is 20 over 6. So we can say that a is less than 20 over 6. So we want to find the greatest possible value of a. And we're told a is an integer, which means it can't be a decimal. So 20 divided by 6 is 3.3 recurring. And if a is less than 3.3 recurring and it's an integer, the greatest possible value of a must be 3. Here are 2 questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, Press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answer. And there's your red answer. So now we've completed success criteria 4. So now that we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe and be sure to check out the videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.